Welcome to the newest episode of Beatin' and Bangin'. I'm your host, Kyle Dalton. In today's video, we have a recap of the weekend at Kansas, including practice and qualifying and a surprising absence in the Fox Amazon Prime booth. A qualifying session that didn't go well for Kyle Busch and revealed how tensions are mounting on the number 8 team. A prophetic comment from Kyle Larson's interview with reporters. Plus, we have Saturday's Truck Series race, where it was an exciting ending that included an unexpected bird flip as the winner crossed the finish line. Plus, we have a couple of things before Sunday's race, like a NASCAR official's mom saying what we've all been saying about her son in 2025, and Clint Bowyer going completely off the rails and having a meltdown during an interview. And of course, we have Sunday's race that Kyle Larson dominated, but had plenty of action and lots of good battles, numerous storylines, and more cussing than I've heard all season. However, before we get to the many angry drivers losing their minds, let's go back to Saturday morning and driver media availabilities. There was one particular interview that I thought was really interesting, and that was with Kyle Larson. Now remember, this was Saturday morning and before his win, but I thought it was quite interesting what he had to say.
How much do drivers pay attention to the criticism about the next-gen car and the racing that it does at certain tracks?
I don't know. I would say everybody's probably different and, what they got going on in their weeks. I don't read, the media a whole lot, but, I would say us drivers were part of the controversy because we're bitching about it just as much as everybody else. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Racing could, it could totally flip this weekend, and we could have the next three to five races be really exciting, and everybody's forgotten about the boring races we've had before then. So I'm not sure, but I think we all would love to see better racing at every track and all that. We're all greedy people. We're humans. So, but yeah, just finding that solution I think is always tough.
With that said, do you consider coming to Kansas as a bit of fresh air because of the racing that we have seen, plus your win here last year?
Yeah, but then if it's a boring race, everybody's going to complain even more about the cars. Oh my God, Kansas has been so great in the past. They brought a new left side tire. Now the racing sucks. NASCAR, you're idiots. Goodyear, you suck. So I don't know. We'll see how the race goes.
We'll see how the race goes. Now, let's move on to the practice and qualifying session. And the first thing that fans and I immediately noticed was who was missing from the Amazon Prime broadcast. When it started, it wasn't the familiar voice of Mike Joy leading the broadcast, but Kevin Harvick. He was joined by his normal partner, Clint Bowyer, and the new addition, Jamie McMurray. Harvick did a solid job directing traffic throughout the broadcast, with Bowyer and McMurray offering their insights and analysis. But it was really curious how there was never any mention as to why Joy was absent. The main storyline from practice was multiple drivers, including Ty Gibbs, Brad Keselowski, and Shane Van Gisbergen, experiencing tire issues, and what we would later learn wasn't a problem with Goodyear, but the teams pushing the limits on the tires. During the qualifying session, the one thing that stuck out to me was what happened to Kyle Busch when the two-time champion got into the outside wall and ruined his qualifying effort. I was listening to the number 8 team radio, and his spotter, Derek Nealon, couldn't hide his frustration.
Let me guess, we were probably tracking in the green until that happened. Yeah, probably about 5th, 6th. Sorry, man. We'll get you tuned up for tomorrow. Did he get the wall at all or no? Oh, yeah. Right side's fucking killed. We drug it from about the end of the billboards of the Craftsman logo all the way till we were straight off of 4. Do we have a garage number?
We didn't know it then, but that was just the beginning of a rough weekend for the RCR driver. Moving on to later in the day and the Truck Series race, and it was an entertaining one that came down to the closing laps as Carson Hocevar attempted to hold off a hard-charging Lane Riggs on the final lap. The 22-year-old did just that. He also did something unexpected as he crossed the finish line. Did you see out his window? Yeah, he was flipping the bird as he took the checkered flag. Moments after the race, Hocevar didn't address the hand gesture in his post-race interview, but Lane Riggs did.
We both hit the wall. He won the race, and, I think he was mad at me. I think he flipped me off all the way down the front stretch coming to the checker, but how can you be mad when you win the race, right? But it's all good.
I have to agree with Riggs. I don't know what he was mad about because he won. Moving on to Sunday morning and the pre-race, and two things got my attention. The first was a post on X by the Athletics' Jeff Gluck on NASCAR Senior Vice President of Competition, Elton Sawyer, and the remarks he made in the drivers' meeting, where he said in a conversation with his mother on Mother's Day that her number one thing was for him to, quote, not be as story today, end quote. Even Sawyer's own mom realizes he's been way too involved in making headlines in the 2025 campaign. Moving forward a short time later, right before the green flag, when the Fox booth had Clint Bowyer interviewing Kyle Larson on the pace laps, and the interview went off the rails.
How about you, Kyle Busch? Or Kyle Larson. Oh, this is going to be a good one already. Kyle Larson, Bowyer and the boys up in the booth here at Kansas Speedway. Boy, the Heartland Park, it's been good to you this week. We started it. I feel like I'm going to start over. We're live on television.
Well, Jamie McMurray.
Moving on to the race, and it didn't take long for us to get some action and our first profanity-laced tirade. It came on lap 7 when A.J. Allmendinger had an engine blow up. The Kaulig racing driver went ballistic.
Bo coming inside. Cautions out. Hey, ECR, you guys fucking suck. Did it lose the engine? Yeah, shockingly. I mean, what? Fuck you guys.
And that's just what I recorded. When the number 16 pilot got back to the garage, he dropped multiple additional F-bombs. To be honest, there wasn't a whole lot more action in that first stage, as there were no more cautions. When it ended, Kyle Larson won it, and he was followed by Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, and Austin Cindric. Early in stage 2, one of the favorites at Kansas, Denny Hamlin, began experiencing issues with his clutch and made a pretty interesting comment. Take a listen.
No, I have no clutch pedal now. Yeah, it does not disengage the car. Copy. Wonderful. Story of my career.
Ouch. On the restart, it was an exciting battle between Kyle Larson and his Hendrick Motorsports teammate Chase Elliott, with the 2021 champion getting in front of the 2020 champion and leading the race once again. Early in that stage, back in 9th place, Zane Smith was having a solid day when he had an unexpected exchange after his crew chief, Ryan Bergini, gave him some advice.
Here's timing when you get those runs here. If you get them in dirty air when you clear, we got to work on that. Bro, fuck you, I'm trying.
Wait, what? I totally wasn't expecting that from the normally quiet and reserved Smith, who clearly wasn't in the mood for receiving any feedback. During that stage, the RFK Fords were a developing storyline because both Ryan Preece and team co-owner Brad Keselowski were running inside the top 10. It's a story now when the number 6 car is running well. Also inside the top 10 was Josh Berry, who had started last in 38 and was up to 5th. Around the halfway point of the stage, Kyle Busch, who was running 12th, was having trouble getting around the lap car of Bubba Wallace and couldn't hold back his frustrations.
Unfucking-believable. These cars suck so bad. Thank you, NASCAR. 10-4, yes they do. Deep breath here. Just keep being smart. You're going to get your opportunity here.
And old Rowdy was just getting warmed up. Fast forwarding a little bit later to the end of the stage, and our next cursing came from another unexpected source in Alex Bowman, who was unhappy with his inability to pass Ty Dillon.
Get the fuck out of the way. Yeah, it's gone to his guy twice. The problem is I don't know what people on his box are saying.
But Bowman wasn't done. As the stage concluded, the upset number 48 driver shifted his focus to Riley Herbst and his spotter.
You go to the 35 car spotter and knock his fucking teeth out. I'm all for you being angry today.
Yikes! I'm telling you, there was something in the Kansas water. The stage concluded with Kyle Larson slowing due to some right rear tire wear issues, which made it interesting as his teammate Chase Elliott rapidly closed the gap, but was unable to pass him as they crossed the finish line to end the stage. Following Elliott was Ryan Blaney, Josh Berry, and Christopher Bell. At the conclusion of Stage 2, we had only had the one caution for cause with Allmendinger's blown engine on lap 7. We had no idea what was to come. In the third and final stage, Chase Elliott took the lead on the restart and stayed out front for the next 25 laps. Interestingly, he had a surprise pursuer in Brad Keselowski. The RFK Racing driver who had finished 6th in the stage appeared to be in line for a solid finish. And then, as Keselowski fans have come to expect all season, it all blew up in an instant, as in his right rear tire blew and he crashed hard into the wall, ending his day. He finished 37th. On the subsequent pit stop, Chase Elliott's chances of a win vanished when his pit crew had trouble with the right rear. He dropped all the way back to 12th place and would never recover. Turns out Keselowski's caution was the first to breed more cautions in that final stage. The second yellow flag waved when there was a crash between Daniel Suarez, Cody Ware, and Ty Dillon. A short time later, on the next restart, Kyle Busch was victimized when he was involved in a chain reaction incident with Josh Berry and Noah Gragson. Unsurprisingly, the RCR driver was not happy.
Bottom 4, he'll help out the back, 1.5 to 7. Hang on here. No yellow yet. No yellow. Caution, caution. Try to get it rolling here if you can. Unfucking believable. Push me! They can just put right sides on it. I know it's going to be tough. It's fucking fucked! I know it doesn't help because the damage is done, but looking back at the replay, the 21 just came down, pounded the 4's right front, knocked him into you. They're all fucking clowns. Every single one of them.
A short time later, the number 8 returned to the track with a different, more dejected tone.
I mean, we can't even make anything of a mediocre day. All right, so it'll obviously be a penalty here because we pitted before pit road was open. There's only a couple guys on that are one lap down, the 24, 47, 41, and 71. Anybody else that would be around you would be 2 or more down. I'll let you know once we go back green on who those guys are. We're not going to be fast enough, so that could give a fuck less. We'll just do what we do. 10-4, I got you.
And in our fourth and final caution of the stage, Corey Heim started in an accident that involved Justin Haley, Eric Jones, and his 2311 Racing teammate, Bubba Wallace. In the final 50 green flag laps, Kyle Larson returned to the point and never looked back. Although, to be honest, if the race went 268 or 269 laps instead of the scheduled 267, we might have had a different result because similar to the end of the second stage, the number 5 car dramatically dropped off in performance on the final lap, and Christopher Bell was closing fast. In the end, the JGR car was unable to get there and earn his 4th win of the season. Instead, it was Larson winning both stages, leading a race-high 221 laps and tying Bell with his 3rd win of 2025. Remember what Larson said on Saturday morning?
Yeah, but then if it's a boring race, everybody's going to complain even more about the cars. Like, oh my God, Kansas has been so great in the past. They brought a new left side tire. Now the racing sucks. NASCAR, you're idiots. Goodyear, you suck. So I don't know. We'll see how the race goes.
I know just from reading social media, some fans thought it was a boring race. Maybe if you focus solely on Larson and his dominance, but those types of races happen. Go back through the history of the sport. There are races where one car is dominant. We've seen that from Larson plenty of times in his career, including earlier this year at Bristol. Was the race crazy exciting like last year's record-setting finish when Larson edged out Chris Buescher? No, but I thought otherwise it was pretty racy with cars going 4 and sometimes 5 wide on those restarts, and there was plenty of passing throughout the day. Josh Berry was proof of it. He started last and finished 6th. Ryan Preece was further proof. He started 30th and finished 7th. And there were other storylines. Corey Heim, in his first start for 2311 this year, finished 13th and beat all 3 2311 racing drivers and team co-owner Denny Hamlin. Plus, add in the fact that plenty of drivers lost their minds and I was thoroughly entertained. All right, guys, that's a wrap on today's episode. I want to get your thoughts about it. Let's start with the race itself. You know what I thought about the race. What did you think? I'll be really interested to see what Jeff Gluck's Good Race poll shows. What did you think about Larson's remarks on Saturday on how we're greedy as humans and always want it better, and his thoughts and prediction of people complaining after Kansas? And what did you think about all the drivers getting upset and cussing, like relatively quiet drivers in Alex Bowman and Zane Smith? And lastly, for you Kyle Busch fans, I have to ask, do you feel there is a growing tension in the number 8 camp? It sure feels like it to me. And one last thing. I wanted to give away this Texas 2025 diecast after last week's race, and I totally forgot. If you're interested in winning it, just type Texas diecast in the comment. That's it, Texas diecast. I'll announce the winner in next Monday's video. Thanks again for checking out the latest video and supporting the channel. I really appreciate it, and hope you have a great rest of your day.